Alright, so I've got a pretty big update today on the channel. After everything I've gone through with the Ducati Everred extended warranty, if you guys have seen the last couple of videos, you guys know, Ducati finally stepped in and came through. Even though the bike was well outside of their factory warranty coverage, they stepped in and made things right. I certainly appreciate everybody who's watched these videos, everybody that's commented, everybody that's liked and interacted with these videos. Appreciate you guys watching. That was one of the big influencing factors for Ducati to step in, and I greatly appreciate it. Seriously, your support helped this get on Ducati's radar, and I am forever grateful. But just as one fire goes out, another one begins. My brand new Moto Morini Escape 650 is back in the shop. That front brake vibration I mentioned at the end of the last video, well, apparently that's a bigger issue than I thought, and they've got the whole front end torn apart looking for that and having to replace probably the steering head bearings, maybe something to do with the brakes, not quite sure, but that bike is brand new and already getting overhauled. So in today's video, I want to break down how Ducati came through, what exactly is happening with the Moto Morini, and on that end, whether or not Chinese bikes still may have a little ways to go in the terms of quality control, even if the company stands behind them. So if you're ready, I'm Chris, this is 4K Motoring, let's get into it. For those of you that haven't seen the last couple videos I've put out, I'm going to link some of them above. Back in the end of March, I went down on my 2022 Multistrada V4S from Raleigh, North Carolina, down to Austin, Texas for the MotoGP races. This is the, I believe, 4th year I've gone down for this, and always been a pretty epic trip. Had a great time, got to ride on track with Claudio Domenicali, the CEO of Ducati, as well as some other big players, and it was just a really fun experience overall. Well, on my way back, about halfway, I made it into Alabama, and a wheel bearing failed on my rear wheel and basically melted the wheel into the caliper bracket, caused a bunch of damage. The bike was stuck on the side of the road, had to get it towed. Luckily to the only authorized Ducati service center in Alabama. I was only about 20 or so minutes from that. And they've had my bike now for over a month. Now the factory warranty on the bike is 2 years. It's unlimited mileage, but it's only a 2-year warranty. And this bike is a 2022, it is now 2025, I'm outside that warranty period. So normally you'd say I'm just out of luck, but I did buy the extended warranty from Ducati. This is known as their Everred extended warranty, and it's marketed kind of as a factory extended warranty from Ducati. Well, as I soon found out, it is not actually run by Ducati. There's a third party that oversees it, and it is Volkswagen Financial, so the money still comes kind of from the Volkswagen Auto Group like Ducati, but it is very different in how it works than the actual factory Ducati warranty. Based on what I found in the actual terms and contract, it sounded like it was supposed to be covered, and the contract made it seem like they should cover all the damages. There's some arguments over that, and over the following weeks after the wheel bearing failed, the dealership and I were having a hard time getting through to the warranty company to figure out exactly what was going to be covered, what wasn't, and it was definitely a fight. So I reached out to Ducati to see if they were willing to help. They offered a little bit of assistance to kind of help me through it, but not a whole lot at first. Well, I guess the video that I linked overhead that almost 30,000 of you guys watched got Ducati's attention, and they contacted me. They did agree as a one-time kind of good faith sort of coverage that they would fix the damages on my Ducati, but they also wanted to make it clear that there are some specific things they want you guys to know about the wheel bearings on these Ducatis. Specifically mentioned in the transparent maintenance manual for the Ducati Multistrada is that the wheel bearing should be inspected every oil change. Now, I don't know too many people that are removing the wheels from the bike, removing the axles, actually checking the wheel bearings every single oil change, but that's what Ducati apparently wants to happen. So just for you guys out there, I know a lot of you guys have commented that you've had wheel bearing failures and other issues related to this. What Ducati is saying is every 9,000 miles, check your wheel bearings. So pull the axles out, pull the wheels off, and check your wheel bearings to make sure they're still in good condition. They also mentioned that if you do a lot of off-roading or racing, obviously there's going to increase the wear and tear on these things. They do eventually wear out. They are wear items. So the mileage that you're expected to get definitely reduces. Personally, for Ducati, the Multistrada is marketed as an adventure touring bike, one of the sportiest of adventure touring bikes. It's meant to do it all and go anywhere. And you would think at 25,000 miles of really pretty reasonable riding that this part still wouldn't have a failure. But either way, Parts are now ordered, and hopefully in the next week or two, I'll have a fully up and running Ducati Multistrada V4. I still have to figure out a way to get down from Raleigh, North Carolina to Alabama to pick up the bike and finish my journey, but I'll update you guys as soon as I get that worked out. Again, thank you guys so much for watching this channel. Again, that was one of the big factors that influenced Ducati to step in, and I greatly appreciate everybody for watching. So now let's talk about Moto Morini. As most of you probably recognize from my last couple videos, after not having my Ducati for several weeks, I was going through a little bit of withdrawals myself, and I decided to purchase a second motorcycle. That second motorcycle I kept for about 24 hours, decided that was not for me, even though it's a bike I always wanted. Checked that off the list, I owned it, I met my hero, and I quickly traded that in at my local dealership, Garcia Moto, for a brand new Moto Morini Escape 650. Now this is designed to be kind of an entry-level adventure bike. It really is a pretty high-spec bike for the price point, so I decided to take a chance on it just to have a spare bike to keep around the garage. It comes with a 3-year unlimited mileage warranty, and overall seemed like a good deal. Well, I picked it up, it had exactly 0 miles on the odometer, and as I started riding it very quickly, in less than 100 miles, I noticed, especially at higher speeds, when I'd hit the front brakes, the front end would almost bounce up and down like a pogo stick. I didn't really take that as a good sign, so as part of my deal when I bought it, I wanted different tires put on it just so I have a standard tire to compare against all the models that I have. But while I was in there, I had them look at the brakes, and to be honest, what they found was a little bit concerning. So as I understand it, basically they took the whole front end of this bike apart, the entire suspension assembly, the wheels, the brakes, all that stuff, took it apart looking for what would be causing the problem. It didn't feel like it was a bent wheel because it only happened under braking, which made me think it might have been a warped rotor, as the dealership is now thinking, believe it is the actual steering head bearings. Obviously, if the front end can shake a little bit under braking, that's going to cause a lot of suspension issues, and I believe that's what I was feeling. And that brings up a serious question. I know a lot of you on the internet are going to have opinions on these things, and there's probably a little bit of truth behind all of those opinions. I decided to take a chance on this Chinese-made bike because of its Italian heritage and just the specs and components that it came with. And clearly I'm learning that while decent bikes they may be, there may be some growing pains in getting them exactly right into your hand. On the upside, again, this is a 3-year unlimited mileage warranty, and everything is being taken care of, no questions asked. It is really easy to actually deal with this company. Parts are taking a little while to come from. I believe California is where they have the big warehouse of all the parts. These bikes, of course, are made in China. The company is from 1937 in Italy, so the company's been around forever. They've had financial issues. They were bought by a Chinese parent company in 2018, and from what I hear, they make a lot of bikes worldwide, but they just recently entered the US market, and this Escape 650 is one of their best-selling models. Now truly, if this is a steering head bearing issue, these bearings are probably sourced from a company much like Ducati sources their bearings from, so it may actually be a third-party company that's causing these problems. So I'm not going to downplay Moto Morini at this point. I think they make a really nice bike for the price point, and they're honoring their warranty, give an awesome warranty, and they plan to make it right and make the bike right. But it is a little frustrating that I have no bike of my own in my garage. So I am a little bit concerned over the actual quality control on these bikes. Overall, the feature list is quite impressive, especially given the price point, but from what I'm experiencing so far in the first 100 miles, it does seem like there may be a couple steps skipped or a little bit of oversight in the quality control process when these bikes are built. Again, luckily there is a 3-year warranty and they put up no fight in fixing things. They do want to make it right and make the bike right, but buyer beware. Obviously, if I'm going through that with the very first one I purchased, there's probably more of these out there, and just make sure that you do a good check over when you first get it. Hopefully your dealership does a good check over and make sure they correct things before they get it into your hands. As you can see behind me in the garage, there is still a gigantic open spot where I have neither of the 2 bikes that I currently own here in my possession. So I'm still waiting for parts to come in on the Moto Morini and for the Ducati. Obviously the Moto Morini is here in Raleigh. It's going to be a little bit easier for me to go get it. So that's my update. Ducati is fixing my Multistrada, and hopefully that'll be back in our hands soon after already over a month of it being out of the garage broken. Our Moto Morini has parts on order, so it should be here soon, even with a couple little upgrades. So I'll bring you guys along for that when I get that back, hopefully sooner than later. And again, I want to thank everybody that's watched these videos and helped me out and commented and liked the videos and shared them. It has made a huge difference. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you like this video, make sure you're subscribed, and stay tuned to see what happens next.